Shalom, Israel. Yeah, I just want to make a part two to this absolute Bible confusion series. Pretty much, I'm getting used to this clubhouse thing. I haven't really dealt with it like that. So just looking back over the video, you know what I mean. I'm seeing that a lady named Stephanie Gentry, she was posting this G245 Alatrios. You know what I mean? Because that's a derivative of Apolatrios. And she obviously doesn't understand, or she was trying to make a supporting argument for Josh. But this little segment right here is going to deal with intimate relationships. And this is why, it's you don't deal with cats that cut you off. You know what I mean? Because then it turns into a fool's argument, and then you don't know who's who. You know what I mean? It just knocks you off balance when somebody. Well, it knocks me off balance when somebody is always cutting me off, and I'm not able to complete my thought, because then I get in a mode of trying to complete a thought. You know what I mean? And look over the obvious arguments. So I'm about to replay this part about pretty much estranged and intimate relationships that Josh and I had. It's looking like on the 3rd of June. So let me go ahead and start right here. 2 hours and 26 minutes. This is pretty much 5 minutes or 6 minutes into the conversation that we had that night.
Polytrio, which is Greek 526.
I noticed that I said Greek 526, and you can watch the first video of this series, and I pretty much got into the Apolatrios and broke it down, and even dealt with G245 Alatrios. With pretty much being a stranger enemy, one from another nation or another family. But like I said, in that one, you got to learn the English language and learn the language that you're dealing with. And this right here is Greek, when two words are combined that have two different meanings are combined, then it gives the word a new meaning. So just for future references, it's good for those that are rightly dividing the word to understand that part. So Stephanie, she was trying to do her part to support our group, but she was supporting heretics, and I'm pretty surprised that Dre and Zaydok they're letting Josh go around acting like this. You know what I mean? Just a professional reprobate. You know what I mean? A professional heretic. And not a heretic like Paul, because obviously they don't understand Paul. Because Paul is too heavy for those that are unlearned. And these brothers are going to show that they're unlearned. And Zadok, he's going to realize that he's unlearned as well. So listen.
What's the definition?
To alienate.
Where you reading that? Hold on. Where you reading that from? In the blue letter?
Oh yeah, so right here I was pretty much reading the biblical usage, and instead of the Strong's definition. And this is what they were trying to get to, the non-participate part. You know what I mean? So just knowing the English language, non-participate is different than what Josh is trying to point out, the non-part, no part. You know what I mean? He's taking the root word apart, but not knowing that dissipate is participate. So he tried to do a part, but anticipate added on to that gives that a action tense. So when you say that you're no part of the family, then that means that usually somebody that's not a part of the family. Somebody that's a part of the family usually say, I don't want any parts of that family. You know what I'm saying? But a participant, if somebody asks you, are you a part of that family? You don't say, I'm not a participant of that family. Because then that's going to make somebody think, what, you don't mess with that family or something? You don't rock with them? Because, When you say I don't participate with that family, that's exactly what it means. You don't do things with that family. So, you know, when you use the word I do not participate, that means you don't rock with them. So that's not the same thing that you're taking no part. You know, that you're no part of that family. Big difference, and that's a huge flaw in their argument. But, you know, setting the argument. So this is one little conversation. I think I took an L just based off of, you know, jumping in the pit with him. You know what I mean? Leading the blind into a pit, and I jumped right in that pit, you know, right along with him. And, you know, I should have practiced more discipline. So, you know, let's go.
Yeah.
Okay, continue. Please. Uh-huh.
See, look at Dre. Dre, he's trying to pull that out. He wants to see that non-participant, not realizing that a non-participant is not the same as no part. So, you know, they probably messaging back and forth. That's what I probably want to say, or they some form of communication, because it's kind of odd that two people had the same flawed understanding. And then, well, I can't say that because zaydok, he's with that too. So, hey, maybe the mods got a different back chat that they have. You know, I never really been a part of a clubhouse. Well, I haven't created my own clubhouse, forum yet. So I don't know if, you know, if you create that forum, if you have a dang on moderators back chat. You know, I've been on this platform. I mean, I was on this panel, so I don't know if the panel actually has a back chat, because, you know, this is like my second time doing it. Well, probably third time doing a presentation on Clubhouse, or trying to do a presentation.
To alienate.
Mm-hmm.
Estranged.
Uh-huh.
To be shut off from fellowship or intimacy. So that's
okay. That's the key. That's the key point right there. To be shut off from one's fellowship. To be cut off from one's intimacy, or to be cut off from one's fellowship. That is the key focus. Dre was trying to get me to read a definition, which, you know, Josh pretty much saved him from that fatal blow. But, you know, they had me all out of my element, so I don't even know if I would have taken advantage of the non-participant part that they both were trying to lay the trap on.
Strong's definition. What's the Strong's definition? Continue.
Okay, hold up, Dre. I'll accept that.
See, he said he'd accept that, but let me just go to the Strong's definition again, just to show y'all that what Dre was trying to do. All right, right here you see that I was using the outline biblical usage. That's what I was using right here, but Dre was trying to get down here to the Strong's definition. You know, which pretty much says to estrange away, passively or figuratively, but when you first read it, it's, you know, Strong's definition, apolatrios or apolatriao. It comes from the Greek word G575, which is apa. And we went through that, you know, in the first series, and a derivative of, you know, G245. So it comes from this and a derivative of this. So, you know, pretty much it's a conglomerate of both of these words together, you know, because you see right here, hold on, this right here is pa, and this right here is the alatrios. Okay, so that's the alatrios. So it has that A looking thing first. And then, shoot, let's see. Alrighty, right here. I went all the way down. Alright, so you see a pa, and then it's alatrios. So pretty much that's apa. And then right here is alatrio. So it's a combination of the words. You see right here? Let me go to it. Alright, you see? That's the okay, so instead of the A looking thing, it's the O. But nonetheless, it's a combination of both words. Let's see. It's a combination of both words because you have the A in the pi looking sign in the O of a pi, but then you have the A and the little TP looking sign 2 times for the alatrios. So it's apalatrios. So you see the pi sign right there. So they just dropped the O and picked up the alatrios. So it's pretty common sense. But what he was trying to do, what Dre was trying to do was he wanted to focus on this right here to be a non-participant, alien or alienate. That's what he was trying to set the premise as.
So let me ask you a question. Who did that apply to first?
It applied to, pretty much it applies to anybody who has a relationship with somebody, like a black sheep of a family. They're a part of this.
No. I'm not asking in general. I'm talking from a biblical standpoint of view. Who were estranged from the children of Israel first, from the Commonwealth of Israel? Who was born into this world estranged from the Commonwealth of Israel?
See, that's not the kind of question. Yes,
it is, because you saying you gave the who was already astray. What you're doing is you're taking a people who
question.
yes, it is, because you saying you gave the correct. I don't have a problem with your definitions. What I'm asking you is who was already astray. What you're doing is you're
at this point in time, the Northern Kingdom was already estranged. To be cut off from one's fellowship. You can't be cut off from a fellowship if you're not a part of a fellowship. So to be cut off from a fellowship it means you had to be part of. And we went through the synonyms, and let's see, let's just do it again. I'll do it with estranged this time. All right, here's the estranged synonyms. Alienate. See, it's the first one, alienate. So that lets you know that those words go hand in hand. Divorce. You can't be divorced of a relationship that you've never been a part of. Alien. Antagonize. Disaffect. You can't be disaffected of something you were not affected of. You can't be disunified for something that you were never unified with. You can't disunite something that you were never united with. Okay, so let's see here. I'm gonna just do one. I'm gonna just do this again with. Let's go with fellowship synonyms. Just to kind of make the draw the point home. Okay, acquaintance, affability, alliance, amity, camaraderie, club. So that club, that's what fellowship is, being a part of a club. Camaraderie, acquaintances, communion, companionability. All right, you know what I'm saying? So pretty much, this is things that you were cut off from. You were cut off from being a club. You were cut off from being acquaintances. So that means at one time you were an acquaintance. Okay? And I'm about to pull out the next point once we let Brother Josh dive a little deeper into his argument.
This
yes,
time,
yes, it is, because you saying you gave the correct. I don't have a
But
problem
see, look, zaydok, he's taking his mic off because he's pretty much agreeing with what Josh is saying. You know what I mean? Because they're letting Josh, just present these little bogus arguments, him and Dre. So they're pretty much on board. So that's just let me know that they ain't dealing with the spirit of truth.
with the definitions. What I'm asking you is, who was already astray? What you're doing is you're taking a people who at one point became cut off in a sense, and you're overlooking a people who were already born cut off and estranged.
That's like saying a black sheep is born a black sheep. It's not.
No,
That's not
that's like saying
yes, it is,
a
'cause the
goat. That's like saying a goat was born not part of a sheep family.
And see that's like a logical fallacy. That's like that's not an equal and non sequential. You know what I mean? That's like one of those arguments where they're not really the same. When I was specifically clear about the black sheep of a family, the goat ain't a part of the immediate family. You know what I mean? The goat is like a distant cousin. You know what I mean? So when you're talking about an immediate family, there's no way the goat could be a part of an immediate family. So, I should have cut that out, but he wasn't letting me finish my argument, so I kind of fell for it. And those brothers are, pretty much thinking he's doing a good job. When you say the black sheep of a family, you're talking about an intermediate family. Anybody knows that? And if you don't, then you just need to start communicating more with American people.
So
Which one is more estranged? A black sheep who were born among actual sheep and end up getting cut off, or a goat who was never a sheep in the first place? Which one's more estranged?
And see, how can you be more estranged? I mean, if you cut off, you cut off. So that's a foolish argument, once again. So, that's just bad logic. And, I jumped down a rabbit hole with him into the ditch. And, so it didn't look good for me. But, just really knowing the context of these words and in the verse that we were dealing with, he doesn't have a clue in what he's reading. Zaydok, he doesn't understand Paul. Neither does Dre nor Stephanie.
I would say the goat, but what I'm talking about is the black sheep in the family.
But that's not what we're talking. So in Ephesians, what we're trying to figure out is if we're talking about the black sheep or the goat. That's all we're trying to do.
No, we're not trying to talk about a black sheep or a goat. You're trying to bring in a goat. You know what I mean? That's pretty much a different species. You know what I mean? You're dealing with a different species, even though it's in the same family. It's a different species. That's like saying a gorilla and a monkey are, alienated from each other. We're not talking about two different species. You know what I mean? Even though they're part of the same family, they're still different species. They got different genetic makeups. Us human, we got the same genetic makeup, so you can't really say, so he's a goat, he's a sheep, oh, that guy's a lamb. You can't do that. You know what I mean? That's pretty damn bad logic, and a logical fallacy. I think it's non sequitur. You know what I mean? So he really pretty much has to know how to, stay on point and stay on topic instead of coming up with these little antics to try to, strengthen this point when you're dealing with logical fallacies.
We're talking about the black sheep. Yes, the black sheep.
Now, from based on Ephesians, right? When you look up the word alienated, all that word means is you had no part. There is nothing.
See, that's what he said. You had no part, and good thing I went there before to show that it's not there. You had no part. It's you're not a participant. So you're not a participant of that club. You're not a participant of that camaraderie. You're not affiliated with that league alliance. You know what I mean? So he has to understand what no part means. You don't ask somebody, "Are you a part of that family?" And they say, "No, I'm not a participant. I'm a non-participant of that family." All you're saying is you don't rock with that family. You don't do the things that they do. That's what that means. So Israel could be, you could be a part of that family and say, you know what, they celebrate Christmas. I don't participate in that. That's what that's talking about. Or, they go to church on Sundays. I don't participate in those activities. That's what participant means. You're not a participant of those activities. Not you're no part of that activity. So you're not no part of that family. Understand context, brother. But guess what? If you watch this video, you gonna understand that you don't understand Paul or the words that he spoke, because these words tie right back to that same concept of apolatrios being spoken about Israel, not the other nations, but Israel, in the same context.
In that word that is indicative in of itself, that means you were once a part of something and separated from it. That's what they're trying to make it mean.
And look at Zadok, right. He came off the mute. Right. That's what I'm saying. He doesn't understand. Dre doesn't understand. Stephanie doesn't understand what Paul is saying. I'm not trying to make it say that. That's what it's saying.
Dealing with an educated man. Stop.
You're not educated, brother, because if you did, you would know that you're making a fool's argument. You're making a foolish argument. You can't be educated making a foolish argument. You know what I mean? So you're leading them into a ditch. But you think that ditch is full of gold. But guess what's in that gold? But guess what's in that pit? Fool's gold.
Playing games.
What does estranged mean, brother? Can I be estranged from your wife? No.
Objection. Doesn't apply.
See, look, she's trying to say that that's a logical fallacy, but it does apply because we're using the word estranged. You know what I mean? Stephanie came off the mic for that, but see, now she doesn't want to deal with estranged. You know what I'm saying? She know he was cut. She knew he was cut, so she's gonna say objection. There's no objection to that. How can you object to me using estranged in a sentence?
Whoa. Now he asked the question. Now he looked up, he asked what estranged means. Now, first,
I'm not asking you to teach me estranged. I'm asking, do you know what estranged means, so I can know that I'm dealing with my peers and we're playing on level playing. We're on level playing ground. That's the reason I'm asking you a question. I'm not asking you as a teacher, as you being my teacher. I'm not asking you because I'm your pupil. I'm asking you to make sure we're on level playing ground and that we have the same understanding. So, because if you don't, then now you got to learn.
You tell us what you think estranged means.
It means separated.
It means separated, right? It can mean no longer with somebody, or it can mean you never knew somebody.
Okay, you never knew somebody, or you're no longer with them. So if you're no longer with them, guess what? The Northern Kingdom was no longer with them. So right there in itself, he just fell on his sword. So if one definition is talking about somebody that was once a part of something, by definition, that argument is over. But we're about to show why his second argument that said you were never a part of it, in which it never says never a part, is non-participant. But we're going to show how his never a part, or what he actually means, is you never had an intimate relationship. We're going to show how he even falls on the sword with that one, with that argument.
Like you can have an estranged son. That means you never knew him.
But you still have that same relationship with him because he's still your son, so there's still the intimacy there. He's your son.
So I shouldn't even argue. See, I'm right in a sense, but the biblical usage says, and the synonyms pretty much say to be cut off. So if he's an estranged son, he's cut off from that fellowship from his father. He's supposed to have that. He's supposed to be a part of the club. He's supposed to be a part of the father and son club. He's supposed to have a father and son alliance. He's supposed to have a father and son camaraderie. He's cut off from that father and son camaraderie. He's cut off from that alliance that he's supposed to have with his father. He's cut off from that affiliation, that father and son affiliation. So he had no part of that relationship that normally a son is supposed to have. So you're supposed to have that intimate relationship with your son, but your son is cut off because he is estranged. But guess what? Nonetheless, he's still your son. Now you got to show us. Now, the only way to make that argument work is the Lord saying the other nation were his children, because we know that he said, Israel are my people. Israel are my children. When does he say that the other nations are his children? When does he say the other nations are my people? And even you, Josh, as a fake Christian, would say that the church are God's children. If you're not a part of the church, you're not a part of that affiliation. Okay? You understand that with the church, but you don't understand that with Israel. The church could be a part of that affiliation. And he's going to say, oh, well, anybody can be a part of it spiritually. Okay? And it comes down to belief. When it comes down to spiritually. And belief means that you obey. You do. Okay? So if you could be a spiritual child of God, then you got to show that in the Old Testament. You're trying to show it in the New Testament, but you're failing because the Old Testament clearly lays that out. And you know what? I'm about to see apolatrios in the Old Testament and see if one time it references the children of the heathen. In fact, before I do that, I'm going to stay in the New Testament. Okay? Let's go to Ephesians 4:18. Okay. This I say therefore, and testify in the Lord, that ye henceforth walk not as other Gentiles walk, in the vanity in their mind, having the understanding darkened, being alienated from the life of God through the ignorance that is in them, because of the blindness of their heart, who being past feelings have given themselves over to lasciviousness, to work all uncleanness and greediness. But ye have not so learned Christ. If so be that ye have heard him, and have been taught by him, as the truth is in Jesus, that ye put off concerning the former conversations the old man, which is corrupt according to the deceitful lust, and be renewed in the spirit of your mind, and that ye put on the new man, after God is created in righteousness and true holiness. All right, let's put it in context. All righty, and we can pretty much go here. Verse 12, for the perfecting of the saints, which we know that the saints are Israel, for the work of the ministry, for the edifying of the body of Christ. All right, so let's go up to verse 8. Wherefore he hath said, when he ascended up on high, he led captivity captive and gave unto gifts unto men. Okay, let's go up even further. Just to pretty much. All right, so this right here was kind of hard to sell a non-believer, because that's too powerful for a non-believer to, believe that that's talking about Israel, just because it says that ye henceforth walk not as other Gentiles walk, in the vanity of their mind. That right there would kind of make that, they feel like that's going to make their point. But Colossians 1:21 will let you know that this is the context. So you got 2 verses 1. Ephesians 2:12 and Colossians 1:21. All right, let's see here. Let's see. Let's see the artist is. Let's just go to verse 1. Paul, an apostle of Jesus Christ by the will of God, and Timotheus, our brother, to the saints and faithful brethren in Christ, which are in Colossus, grace be unto you and peace from God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ. We give thanks to God and the Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, praying always for you. Okay. Since we heard of your faith in Christ Jesus and of the love which ye have to all the saints, for the hope which is laid up in heaven, whereof ye heard before, in the word of the truth of the gospel, which is come unto you as it is in all the world, and bringeth forth fruit, as it doeth also in you, since the day ye heard of it, and knew the grace of God in truth, as ye have learned of Epaphras, our dear fellow servant, who is for you a faithful minister of Christ, who also declared unto us your love in the Spirit. Okay, so that's gonna be too hard to understand, but I always understood Colossians 1 and 21 to be talking about Israel. And ye that were sometimes alienated and enemies in your mind by wicked works, ye are now, yet now hath he reconciled in the body of his flesh through death, to present you holy and unblameable and unreprovable in his sight. If ye continue in the faith grounded and settled, and be not moved away from the hope of the gospel which ye have heard, and which was preached to every creature which is under heaven, whereof I Paul am made a minister, who now rejoice in my sufferings for you, and filled up that which is behind of the afflictions of Christ in my flesh for his body's sake, which is the church. All right. So let me go to the Old Testament, because that right there that's still too heavy for these Christians to understand. But I just wanted to go there first and deal with it to see what their talking points will try to be. Now let's go to the Old Testament. All right, Old Testament. We're going to start at Ezekiel 14 and 5. That I may take the house of Israel in their own heart, because they are all estranged from me through their idols. That same word right there, let's check it out again, which is, see the cosign right there? You see the cosign, and instead of the A sign, you got the little N looking thing. But guess what? It's still the same word, G526, apolatriao.
Strong's G 526, apolatriao. Apolatriao.
All right.
Strong's H 3605.
So now let's go to the Estranged, and let's see. Okay, stranger, 45 times stranger, 18 stranger. Let's just go to some random strangers. And they shall eat those things wherewith the atonement was made, to consecrate and to sanctify them. But a stranger shall not eat thereof, because they are holy. Ye shall offer no strange incense thereon, nor burnt offering. Okay, so that right there is really talking about the stranger. But we see Israel being referenced as a stranger too. Ye shall offer no strange incense. Ezekiel 30 and 33. Whosoever compoundeth any like it, or whosoever putteth any of it upon a stranger, even shall be cut off from his people. Okay, Leviticus 22 and 10. There shall no stranger eat of the holy thing, a sojourner of the priest, or a hired servant shall not eat of the holy thing. So that's talking about actual strangers there. All right, let me make sure in these verses that's really apologetic, which is going to be apologetic. So it's really not apollatria, it's alatria. Let's see. Greek 245. So these are different words, alatrios, which is from a strange nation. So as we see, the apollatria and the alatria are two different words. All right, let's go to the estranged then. The estranged. All right. Now let's go to Job 19. These are the 4 times that it's used in the Old Testament. This right here is the same word, estranged, which this is apollatria. Okay, let's make sure. She put up G245 that was trying to say strangers. This right here is talking about a that references family. All right. So that's G45, 245. Let's go back to Estranged. That's really weird. So the only time apolatrios is found is in the Old Testament is talking about Israel directly. Let me go through these other ones just to make sure. All right, Psalms 58 and 3. Let's go to Estranged. Okay, that's apolatrios. 526. And look, the wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born. Okay, so that's the wicked. So Israel can be wicked. You know what I mean? So that's true. The wicked. Are Gentiles born wicked? Huh. Now you gotta ask that, are the Gentiles born wicked? Because we all know that they were given the laws in Genesis. So are they wicked if they follow the laws of Genesis? No. So that has to be talking about somebody that's born wicked and not doing the actual law. You know, so let's see here. And this is talking about Israel. To the chief musician, Altashia Misham of David. Do ye indeed speak righteousness, O congregation? That's talking about the congregation of Israel. Do you judge uprightly, O ye sons, or are you sons of men? Well, O ye sons of men. Yeah, in heart ye work wickedness, talking about Israel. Ye wait the violence of your hands in the earth. The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they are born, speaking lies. So he's talking about Israel. This is a psalm to Israel, the congregation. Okay. So let's see if these other ones are the apolatrios are talking about the other nations. All right. So again, this is talking about Israel. Go up, the children of Ephraim. Now, which verse was that? Okay. All right, verse 30. They were not estranged from their lust. Talking about Ephraim. Let's see if this is apolatrios. Nope, this is a pa. G575.
Strong's G 575. Apa. Apa.
And a pa, as we learned in the other lesson, is well, not in the other lesson, but this is a family separation. You know, any kind of separation of one thing from another. Let's go to C. You know, so of any kind of separation of one thing from another by which the union of fellowship of the two is destroyed. So this is talking about an actual family being. So that's why you got apolatrios, because the apa, which is family, trio means enemy. So let's see. So now I just go through random verses just to see if there's some more apolatrios. Let's see. Let's go here. Strange. Let's go to where it's actually a stranger. All right, let's go here. Leviticus 22:10. Let's see if that's apolatrios. No, that's alatrios. G245. No. G241. Huh? What's this?
Strong's G 241. Alaganase. Alaganase.
Okay, so this one ain't even apolatrios at all, or alatrios. But this still, I'm guessing, is stranger. Yep. Sprung from a foreign tribe. Which is still not apolatrios. And that's only used one time. Yep. Let's see here. Now they might be able to run to Luke, but that's still one word, okay? And Jesus answered, saying, "Were not there 10 cleansed? But where are the 9? There are not found that return to give glory to God, save this stranger." And he said unto him, "Arise, go thy way. Thy faith has made thee whole." So that's an actual stranger that he was dealing with. And, you know, we can go through this and see how many times that was used, Luke 17 and 18. So let's see here. I want to go back. Let's see. Let's go back to the 18 since that's the most common. Let's go to Deuteronomy 25 and 5. Let's see if this is alatrio or apolatrios. Huh. This is a different word altogether. That's G599.
Strong's G 599. Apothnesco. Apothnesco.
Alrighty, let's go there and let's just see then. So that can't be it. So hold on, which one? Would be stranger in this one. So this is a totally different word all around. Let's see here. All right, my Greek ain't that good. It ain't that on point, so I'm pretty sure that's the word, though. But I ain't there, so let's go back. All right, let's go to another one in Deuteronomy. All right, let's go to Numbers. Let's try that first. All right, let's see here. That's all the trios. Yep, so that's G.
Strong's G 241. Allogenase. Allogenase.
So that's the same one. It was only used once. Okay, so this is how you deep dive. Okay, so I see it now. And what's this right here?
Strong's G 1085. Genos. Genos.
Okay. Okay, so I think I got it now. Let's see, Genos. So some of these words you might find are Genos. See, I'm learning as I go too. You know, deep diving like this. Let's see here. Let's go to Deuteronomy 32 and 16. That's all the trios. So that's not a polytrios. So yeah, they're gonna have a hard time, you know, kind of proving a polytrios means actual strangers. They're gonna have a hard time because you don't see it. You don't see it. Let's see here. Yeah, this is a totally different word all around. Is this it?
Strong's G 297. Amphateroi. Amphateroi.
That's not it. All right, let's see here. Yeah, so I'll just be guessing with this one. Yes, I don't see that word in the Greek. Yeah, I don't see it. So, I think I proved my point with this, that when you see apolatrios in the Old Testament, it's pretty much talking about Israel, and when you see alatrios, it's talking about Israel and the other nations. But the one found in Ephesians is dealing with pretty much strictly Israel. But let's go back to Josh and hear him out a little more.
No, ain't no intimacy there. If you got a child in this world that you didn't even know exist, how's that intimacy?
Because
what are you talking about?
He came from your...
Okay, so now the definition says to be cut off. So the son is cut off from that intimacy. There's no way around it. There's no way around it.
Boy, that's you.
But you know what, brother? You know what intimacy means? What does intimacy mean?
No, he don't.
It means to have a relationship, a close
No, it
relationship.
does not. Intimacy means to have a close relationship with somebody that's based off of love.
Okay, so he's right. It's a close relationship based off of love. And guess what? An estranged son would be cut off from that relationship. So even if he never had it, he's cut off from that because by nature he's supposed to have that. Okay? So now my closing sentiment would be, well, my closing request would be to show in the Old Testament that the other nations were called children of God or God's people, and they were cut off from that intimacy. Because we see the wicked that were cut off at birth was speaking about Israel. So when he said at birth, who is cut off at birth, it tells us in Psalms that Israel was cut off at birth. It doesn't say anything about the other nations. So Josh, this is what you need to do. You need to show the heathen were cut off at birth and that they were pretty much related to this. You know, they're cut off from this intimate relationship that they were supposed to have with the Lord in the Old Testament. You got to show that. You got to show that. Otherwise, you're making a fool's argument. And since you are a student of the Bible, you should be able to point that out to me. Teach me, Josh, or anybody else. Zaydok, teach me. You know, show me the way. Because right now, you don't know what apollatria mean, and you don't know, you haven't even dug into the word much. You know, and you probably only heard of it when we went over it that night. So let's not play these games. All right, G, check us signing out. Shalom.